Happy 4th of July. It's Saturday morning, 9:58 a.m. We're back at it again. We're here late last night. We are in the process of restoring a Cagiva WMX 500. It's an extremely rare Italian 500cc two-stroke. And this is what we'll call the mock-up stage. We bought all the parts for it. We bought reproduction plastics. They don't even make graphics for this. So Christy Steiger, my girlfriend, designed a custom set. And I want to show you how to put the graphics on. It's actually pretty easy. And we're going to put all the graphics on the plastics, and I actually started the front number plate, and this is why we do a mock-up stage, because sometimes things don't always fit as planned. The template called for a little bit wider, so when I put the graphic on, it actually was hanging off the edge, so I had to trim it with a razor blade. These are reproduction plastics, so they may not be exactly like the originals, so that's one of the things you're up against when you're working on a vintage plastic. But back to the graphics. They come on a large, they come all of them in a bag on a piece of, I don't know what you call it, but basically it's like a peel away surface. So you basically just peel the graphic off, the number plate. It's actually pretty simple to do. If you've never done a set, don't be afraid. And the vintage bikes are actually easier because it's a flat surface. If you look at a more modern new bike, they have curved sides. And the way you do it is you spray this stuff on here. This is a spray application. This one here is, the bottle says Titan MX, but we use this stuff called Rapid Tack. It's a application fluid. You buy it by the gallon. Rapid Tack, cleaner and application fluid. That's your friend. That's the key to making this thing badass. So without screwing up your graphics, so you spray a little bit of this on. What it does is it provides a little lubrication, so you can actually move it around and it won't get stuck in the wrong spot. And you got to trust your inner instinct when you're. You know, ever seen like you take a stick with a fork and it wants to go to water? You know, well, it's kind of like that. You want to look at it, and if it looks crooked, it probably is crooked. So you just find like that's too high, that's too low, that's too far forward, that's too far back. Find your happy median in the middle and put it on there, and don't fully commit. Just get like one edge on like this, and leave one edge up, so you can stand back and look at it and see if you screwed up or not. So that looks pretty good. I had already done this side right here. Once you put the graphic on, you have to work the Rapid Tack out from underneath it. So basically, you grab like a credit card and you just squeeze it like this, and you see that fluid coming out the top right there, little bubbles, a little bit of water or Rapid Tack. That'll actually get the bubbles out, and it'll get the Rapid Tack out. And then you just work it a little bit with your fingers like this from the inside out, try to get any bubbles out, and then use a heat gun when you're done, and that'll activate the adhesive, and they'll be on there real good. So you can see what a game changer it is for the look of a bike when you put the graphics on it. It just makes it really pop. When you have too much just red, it looks plain Jane. So you start at the bottom like this and work your way up. Or you can start at the top and work your way down, but you want to work from one edge to the other to work all the bubbles out. And the Rapid Tack gives you probably, I'm going to say, you've got about maybe 10 minutes. See, it's a little bit too far forward. I'm going to move it back a little bit. So you got about 10 minutes where you can move it around. And if you don't use this stuff, it gets stuck on there. Then you're basically screwed with wherever you set it, where it's going to stay. So see this bottom edge right here? I'm going to use the bottom edge right here as my guide to, I actually love putting graphics on a bike, and I think the reason why is there's nothing that has a more dramatic immediate effect. In fact, one of the people that used to work here accused me of saying, this is the only thing you ever do here is put graphics on. But actually, long story behind that, but I do a lot more than just graphics, but it is something that I really enjoy doing, and the reason why is it's like immediate gratification. Look, you step back and look at it, and it looks pretty cool. So when you're doing a restoration and you're doing the graphics, the best part about it is you get to make them your own. If you're working with a graphic designer like Christy that knows what the hell they're doing, you can do it your own way. So one of the things we did is we kind of copied the original Cagiva graphic, which is going to go right here. But I thought it looked a little plain Jane, and this is a 500. So Christy and I came up with this idea to call it the Boss, you know, because it's the biggest, baddest bike that Cagiva ever made. And in fact, there's a story behind this bike here. Mr. Hogan. What's Hogan's first name, Kenny? You remember?
Bob.
Bob. There you go. Bob Hogan, Hogan Cycles up in Mass. This was his bike. He bought it brand new. He sold it to me because he's like 78 years old and he's probably all done doing hill climbing. But he raced the New England Hill Climb champion on a CR 500, and they went 2 out of 3, and he beat him twice in a row. And the first time, the guy thought he jumped the gun or cheated, you know. Of course, he protested, so Bob straight up whooped his ass twice on this bike. Bob was a champion flat tracker, trials rider, and general legend in the industry around here. Anyways, he owns a shop called Hogan Cycles that's got a huge collection of vintage bikes. But it's stuff like this that really makes the bike pop. We're working on hey guys, wait till you see the Police Interceptor bike. What is that? Oh, it's downstairs. Mm-hmm. We restored a police bike and we're calling it the Rockville Interceptor. So wait, I'll just give you. Well, Christy redid like the California Highway Patrol graphic, but instead of California Highway Patrol, it says Kaplan America and Kaplan Cycles in it. It's going to be pretty badass. So we're going to have some fun with that. You might have seen the video with the other cop bike that we were hammering on. So basically, again, trust your inner voice is telling you. You don't want to go. I always go, okay, that's too far forward. That's too far back. So we're somewhere in the middle, right? That's too low. That's too high. So you want to be somewhere in the middle. And you want them both to be on the same at the same angle. If they're angled up or down, whatever you do on your graphics, you want to carry it through from the front of the bike to the back of the bike, the angle of the letters and the numbers and everything, so it looks consistent. That's a little too low. Just go up a little higher. So it's a rainy Saturday here. I figured there's nothing better to do than go get ahead of the game a little bit on some of our projects. So, like I said, this bike will be stripped down after the graphics and plastics are all applied, and once we figure out where we're at with everything. This is a mock-up stage, and these are brand new plastics, so they won't be getting any polishing or anything. So you just rub from the bottom to the top, and then from the inside to the outside like that to get the water out from underneath it. The Rapid Tack kind of evaporates over the course of maybe 24 hours. You put a little heat gun on there, it'll be on there forever. Look at that. It's kind of a game changer with the way the bike looks when you stand back like right here and look at it. It gives it a little contrasting color. This is the Cagiva logo, the elephant with the trunk up. So Chrissy custom designed these with the Italian flag and a number 1, and I put champion of motocross there. So pretty straight up badass. So normally, like on the CR500 that I'm going to be putting the graphics on next, I'm doing the CR500, the Cagiva 500, and then the CR125 today. So I'm going to do these 3 bikes before the day is over. But we normally put an AMA sticker on for the American Motorcycle Association. So for the Italian Federation Moto, I don't want to murder this, Motociclista Italiana. This is like the AMA for the Italians, right? So in honor of their federation, Christy recreated this logo and we're putting it on there. Again, you want to. It's kind of a fine line. You want to find that middle spot that this doesn't clash with the Cagiva logo or in the front right there. So just want to put it on, stand back. How's that look, Ronnie?
Pretty good. I think the front needs to come up a tad.
The front comes up a tad?
Mm-hmm.
My shoulder is still fucking killing me, man. Sorry for swearing, but I'm miserable. It's a month tomorrow since I crashed. I got to get a MRI on my shoulder, and it's not like I've been taking it easy. I ran the power washer for how many hours yesterday, Ronnie?
At least 4 or 5 or 6.
Out in the rain.
Out in the
scrubbing
rain.
bikes for 9 hours straight.
Cold.
I bust my ass here with the guys. You know, that's what we do. But yeah, we're getting it done. And I've been riding motorcycles every single day. My doc's like, no riding bikes. Well, that's what I do, you know. So if I'm breathing, I'm gonna be riding, you know. So Christy recreated the sponsors that would be for this bike from that era. It's got the soft damp Cagiva suspension, Öhlins, that's the front forks, Öhlins rear shock, Delorto carburetor, Brembo brakes, and WOMX is the model. And this is kit number 19 of Steiger Designs. She does these custom kits, and she's got I don't know how long she can continue it, I guess forever, but she makes every single kit a little bit different. So and she serializes them when she does a whole kit. So when you get one of these bikes or one of these kits, you're getting a one-off. Like nobody on the planet has the same thing, which is kind of cool, because so much stuff has gotten standardized or whatever you want to call it. It's just no character. This should be a little bit easier. Both shoulders are working properly. So you want to trust your judgment when you're looking at it. Stand back and look at it. Now, this fender is not perfectly straight. Maybe the holes were drilled. You got to make sure it lines up with the rear wheel. So sometimes if there's a bent subframe or something, it won't. So that's how you can tell. Or a bent fender. This is a brand new fender, so we know the fender is not the problem. It's just either the way the holes are drilled. And you stand back and look at it. That looks pretty good to me. And then work out that fluid. But the fluid gives you that second chance, which you might not get if you were not using it, because once that adhesive's pretty strong, and once it sets up, what happens is when you pull it off, it'll actually stretch the graphic and screw it all up, and nobody wants that to happen, right? So you just rub that out. Like you can use a rag like this, or you can use a credit card. The whole idea is to work the fluid out to the edge like that and work all the bubbles out. Christy made a custom swing arm graphic. We're not going to put this on yet because this swing arm is going to be sanded, probably 4 stages of sanding, and then buffed out so it looks like chrome basically, which is a lot of work, but it'll probably get mounted right about right here, would be my guess. And the graphic does fit, so that's part of the mock-up stage. Because when you order custom graphics, they don't show up the same day, right? You got to order them. Takes a while to build them. And then Christy's got like 4 vendors that she outsources the graphics to getting printed, and some different vendors do different things better. So now I know I've got two versions of the WP 4054 fork graphic. I asked her to make 2 versions. One's a little darker than the other. I checked it out. I'm gonna use a lighter one. We'll do that. We'll do some variation of things. And then of course, check out the hairy nubs on this tire. Those are the longest hairy nubs. Does the camera pick it up? Go real close and let them see. Those are like those are like the biggest, hairiest nubs I've ever seen on a dirt bike tire. That's a Pirelli. So Christy made the Pirelli fender side decal. We'll put that on next. But it's really gratifying when you do a custom kit like this. The design process, working with the designer, you can do pretty much anything you want to do if you have a good designer like Christy, and the sky's the limit. So like this here, I think the fender decal looks absolutely amazing. I really like it. When this bike's done, you guys are going to be like, damn, Sam, look at this thing. It's going to be the chromed out swing arm, the motor and frame are going to be painted, all new plastic and graphics. I'm going to put some Renthal bars on there. It's going to be, this will be, when it's done, my goal when I restore these bikes like this is to have it look better than anyone did brand new back in the day, even the factory bikes. I want this thing to look absolutely badass, you know, so we set a pretty high standard. This bike here is a little bit risky to do for me because this is a business, right? But like the CR500, I know if I do a frame off on a CR500, it's going to sell well north of 10 grand. This one, I don't know, it's a little bit limited market. So I wanted to do this not because I thought we'd make any money off of it. I don't know if we will. We paid a lot for the bike. Anybody who's dealt with Bob Hogan before know he doesn't like to part with his bikes at all. So if he does, you're paying up. So, and this was his personal race bike, so we paid up for this thing. But I've never seen a Cagiva 500 in New England here ever. Since I've been to Southwick every year since the beginning, 1974. So there were no, I've seen Cagiva 250s, but not 500s, not big bores. So it's a super rare bird. I think less than 1,000 of them were made. I couldn't get the actual production stats, but there's not a lot of these running around. So, and to get one that's an original owner bike and the frame rails on this thing, not a single ding anywhere in them. The frame rails are perfect, like it just came out of the box. So he hill climbed this at Munson, which is a sand hill climb. And think about it, how much time the hill climbers put on their bikes? 9 seconds. You get your warm up and you got 9 seconds. So this bike might have maybe a couple hours ride time on it. So it runs, the motor, clutch, and tranny are perfect. It looks a little ratty because it's been sitting around for 30 plus years, right, in the shop. So, and Bob's not a real freak about detailing his bikes. The thing just sat there. So, but when it's done, see with the fluid on there, you can see how that you can actually move it around and do what I said, kind of like a Geiger counter. You know, you're getting a little closer, a little farther away. Find your middle ground, front to back, and your top to bottom, and actually it's starting to stick. So it starts sticking after a little while, but find that happy medium where it looks the best. Trust your inner judgment and just go with it. You know, sometimes people want to do things different. Like on the Hondas, I've seen so many people do a different variation of the wing. That's about where I like the wing on a Honda. Some years Honda would tilt it forward more. Some years they'd tilt it back more. And I've seen people do, you know, put them perfectly flat to the ground or angle them up or down. So it's whatever you want to do, man. It's your bike, so it's kind of like an art project. You do what you want to do. If you're doing a restoration, then find a file photo of the bike when it was new and make it exactly the way it was, because they're going to, classic, vintage, antique bikes are always going to be worth more if you put them back to 100% stock. That's usually the case, unless it's a race bike and you set it up for racing with high performance brakes and tires and suspension and everything else. Then people will pay a premium for that if they're looking for that kind of thing. What do you think about this, the Boss, huh?
I really like it.
You know, I'm figuring that everybody who's got a Cagiva is going to want a set of these graphics, and Christy is not selling the graphics yet. She came on full time 6 months ago doing our graphics, and she's yet to actually get ahead of the game, because we have, on average, about 100 bikes a month coming through here, and almost every one is getting a new graphic kit. So she's working 60, 70 hours a week designing our graphics. So, and she doesn't have the bandwidth to produce custom graphics for anybody else. But at some point, she's creating she has 2 books, in which I'll share with you those books. Maybe I'll do a video tonight when I get home and show you what we've created. All 23 or 24 full custom kits and all the stock reproduction ones we've done. She's got 2 folders, one for vintage and one for newer bikes and resto mods. So we'll have a catalog like this. This will be on file. And if you want to order a Cagiva 500 kit or a 250, which I think is the same plastics, if it is, we'll be able to provide that for you. But right now, we're just not there yet. We don't like to do things half-assed, so when we're ready to do it, we'll have our shit together, and it'll be right. This graphic right here is the Cagiva tank graphic. I'm not going to put this on because we have to. This is going to look awesome. We have to restore this gas tank, and if you zoom in a little closer, you can see there's a lot of scratches in it. We'll sand this down. What grits or sandpaper will you use on this, guys?
Probably I would start that off. Probably would say that 16 go to 1,000.
Yeah. Okay. You can see the shock needs to be dismantled. We're going to take the shock spring apart and sandblast that and repaint that. The entire bike, all the painted surfaces on the bike, every inch of it will be repainted. All the aluminum will be polished. But this, during the mock-up stage, I'm not going to be putting this one on for obvious reasons, because it needs to be prepped. So what Ronnie's doing here is he actually broke out the level to make sure each side, this side and the other side, are level, and also the tape measure. And I couldn't see it by eye, but I was a 1/4 inch farther forward on one side than the other. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it sure is better if it is. So why not? Grab your tape measure, grab your level, and make both sides the same. So we put a little bit of the Rapid Tack on the front fender here And this is another one where you basically eyeball it. You want to go maybe 3/8 inch off the front. Now this will work on basically any motorcycle that you're doing graphics on. It's all the same, the same techniques. Put your rapid tack on. Trust that inner voice. And I said it before, I'll say it again. Winning is winning. Been watching a little bit of Fast and Furious. We're up to Fast and Furious 5. Chrissy and I see we're thinking about getting into cars a little bit. So I went to a couple car events, as you know, and Junior's been leading the way here with his turbocharged BMWs and stuff. So I was thinking about getting a car, and then I looked in the garage and I said, wait a minute, I got an '87 Mustang 5.0 GT, and it's already got the full Saleen racecraft suspension, strut tower brace, G-load brace, geared down, off-road exhaust. I was like, you know what? I fired up the 050 this morning, and we're gonna give that one a run. The tires on it are 20 years old. I bought them. I checked the date code. They're Y2K. 20 years ago, I bought the tires, and they still got tread on them. So fired her up this morning. So before I put my new tires on it, because you can't, 20-year-old tires ain't gonna cut it on the track or the street. I'm gonna do a massive smoky burnout for you. Okay, so stay tuned for that. We got a little bit of a problem here, a little dilemma. This graphic is a little larger than the fender. It's if you come around this side right here, you can see it fits perfectly. This is not uncommon. A set of graphics might take 30 minutes to install. It might take 3 hours. Like the one on my Kaplan America aluminum frame 500. That one there took me about 4 hours because on the newer bikes they're so swoopy, the bodywork, and they're round. Trying to put a flat piece of graphic on a round piece, there was quite a bit of carving with the razor blade, custom carving, and making it work. So this one here, I might have to trim it up a little bit. It was no big deal. You just grab a razor blade and trim it. So it's pretty straightforward. Work that out. It takes a little while for the rapid tack to kind of stop doing its job. And the trick is to get it where you want it to before it stops doing its job. Otherwise, you might mess up your graphic. And a good set of graphics is going to set you back minimum $200 unless it's some off the shelf, generic, factory effects stuff that everybody and their brother has. So you don't want to pay for them twice. So take your time, put the rapid tack on, and do it right. So you just trust that inner voice, man. Go about a 1/16 of an inch in from the edge. And follow it up so it looks like a machine cut, and then trim it off. Bang, there you have custom graphics. No one's gonna know but me and you guys that we did it, okay? So this one's a 1/16 of an inch skinnier than that side. It's on the other side, you can't see it. But so and when we do the next step, this is one of the reasons Christy doesn't want to sell them to the public yet, because every time we do a custom set on a repop plastic or graphic, it may not fit perfectly. So what we will do on the next set is we'll make this maybe a 1/4 inch narrower, so you don't have to trim it. But we learn something with every single set. And the second set is always easier to do than the first. But at some point we're gonna have a library of all the Hondas, all the vintage bikes, and you'll be able to buy graphics from us. I don't know when it's gonna be. Might be next year, I'm not sure. But stay tuned, we'll have it done. So this is something that probably didn't exist back in the day, but is popular now, and that's a front fender graphic. And of course, if you got a 500 Cagiva, why not shout out from the hilltop? So another opportunity. So basically, you want to just stand back and look at it, see how it looks. And you got a little bit of time until it tacks up, so you can move it around a little bit. I'll move it forward a little bit. What do you think, Brian? Does that look pretty good?
Yeah, I actually like the tank graphic mixed with the front graphic. I mean, if you look at it from this angle out, it kind of looks like a brand new bike.
Yeah, if you step back, you can kind of get the vision here. There's only one piece missing, and that's this one right here, and that's going to go like that. And once the frame's painted and the motor's painted and the swing arms polished, and you got Renthal bars, we'll put some black and red Pro Grip 801s on here with the Renthal crossbar pad. it's going to be an absolute object of desire. This is just a mock-up stage right here. We just got for the front number plate. It's not really mounted. If you come to the front, you'll see it's, or if you look from the side, you'll see it's angled too far forward. It'll be back like this once it kind of looks like gooned forward, but that's how it'll look. I probably won't have Christy redo this graphic here because we trimmed both sides, and there was a black pinstripe that went up the side, but now that it's gone, it actually looks fine. So sometimes it's good enough. You get your black stripe on the bottom, the Cagiva 500 on the top, and it's looking pretty good. So you can see it's a total metamorphosis. It's like putting the paint job on a car. A bike with no graphics kind of looks lost, you know. And this one's got a lot of personality now. So that's how you do it. Guys, I can't resist putting this. I'm just going to temporarily put it on there. I'm not taking the whole backing off, just so you can get an idea of what a custom graphic set will do for a bike. Now stand back and look at that thing. Can you see? To me, it's an absolute game changer putting the graphics on the bike. Once this is all polished and painted and tuned to perfection, it's going to be straight up badass. It is the boss. This thing will give the CR500 a run for our money. There's a reason why there's a 12-inch extension on the swing arm. This is a wheelie monster. So stay tuned. We're going to get this thing done. I consider us extremely blessed to have a full-time graphic artist, Christy Steiger, making these kick-ass kits. And stay tuned, because the bikes you're going to see rolling out of the shop here at the Rockville Motorcycle Mania, Kaplan Cycles, and the New England Motorcycle Museum are going to be absolutely off the hook. And if you haven't already, buy your ticket, kaplancycles.com/raffle. We're raffling off a CR500 1997, and we're always looking for collections of motorcycles to buy. We buy about 100 bikes a month, so give us a call at the shop, 860-454-7024. Ronnie wanted to add a couple things.
I was going to say, don't forget to go on kaplancycles.com/raffle. $10 to enter. CR500. You already know the deal.
Amen. God bless. God bless America, and God bless Italy for making kick-ass machines like the Boss, the 500 WMX. So there you have it, folks. That's how you put your custom graphic kit on. Get a set for your bike. Get it done. No better way to spend a rainy Saturday afternoon than making your bike better. Thanks for watching. God bless America.